What's happening, beautiful YouTube family? So we're over here on the homestead here, and I had I had an idea that I wanted to reach out to you guys and to let you know how it is we do what we do on the homestead and how we create income on here and how we make money from just the internet connection, and how we create capital for other people to be able to go out and purchase a permaculture property or a homesteading property, and how they can maintain that, and how they can keep moving ahead in their life, and just get that dream property that they want, whether it's here or Costa Rica or whatever the case is. And so basically this is going to be pretty short and sweet, but the cool thing is that what we're doing here is I'm going to educate you like I do my other clients. I'm going to educate you on the steps that you're going to have to take if you actually truly want to live this lifestyle. Okay, it's going to take preparation. It's going to take some planning. It's going to take it's going to take a little bit of time, and we're already having a couple people drop off as soon as I say that. Right, preparation and planning, and so the thing is that we have an ability here to use the same system that the government set up, the banking system, and take massive advantage of it, no matter where you are right now financially or where you are credit wise, despite all that stuff. Okay. What I want you to do to get in the right mindset of this, I want you to look at where you are right now, where you were a year ago or 6 months ago or 4 months ago, and look into the future and say, and think to yourself, do I want to be in a position of owning my own land in 6 months? Okay, guys, I'm looking at right out here out of my office window. There's a whole flock of turkeys walking right up to my chickens. I bet they want my chickens' food. Check this out. Turn my webcam around. Okay, look at that. Can you see those? You see my deck right there. Look in front of my shop, right in front of that garage right there, all the way in front of the garage. You barely see it. Let's see. You see those turkeys moving around over there? Those big, tall, black things back there on the right? On your right, my left, or whatever. I think it's on. Oh, this thing's backwards. Yep, those turkeys just showed up. See all the snow outside. It's actually snowing right now. So anyway, that was fun, huh? So we've got tons of deer out here, and guys, I live this lifestyle. I mean, I look at this, I'm like, man, I'm so blessed. Every single day I look outside of this window, and I'm seeing deer walk by, and seeing turkeys walk by, like we just showed you. My chickens are out. Of course, we free range. Even in the wintertime, I'm free ranging. Okay. We have dogs. You got my big Anatolian right here. You can't see him right now. He's kind of chilling back there. Look at that big guy, huh? Hey, Buck. Hey, Buck. Yeah. Buck's about 140 pounds, guys. He's an Anatolian Shepherd. What he does, his job is to go ahead and make sure that the property is secure. Okay. He's inside right now because he's spoiled and it's cold. We have a fire going on here, so he kind of likes being in the fire in my office, and so this is my office. It's not something that I show you guys very regularly, but how do I get to do this? Okay, was I born rich? Absolutely not. We had to work for everything that we're doing, but I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to give you a very basic outline, guys. Nothing's for sale here. All right, nothing's for sale. I want you to. I love you. Okay, and that's the truth. And the definition of love is wanting good for other people. All right, no matter what, no matter if they harm you or don't. Jesus said, "Love your neighbor as you love yourself." I want good for you. Okay, and I used to struggle with the concept of love, of like how do I love somebody I don't even know, right? Or somebody I've never met, or somebody that has been ugly to me or to my family. How do I love that person? And the fact of the matter is simply this: you love somebody just by wishing the best for them, right? And so I can honestly say I love you because I wish the best for you. And so there's nothing for sale here. You know, we have stuff for sale. We have clients in all those things. But that's not what this is. This is so you can get a firm understanding. So without further ado, let me just go ahead and explain this to you because I I I don't have a screen share device with this YouTube live thing. I don't know how to do that. If you do know how to do that, you can pop that in the comments and maybe help me out. But with this right here, we're gonna if you're just coming on, I want you to just take a look at this and say, okay, where was I 6 months ago? Where am I now? Probably close to the same spot you were 6 months ago. And where do I want to be in 6 more months? Okay, so 6 months from now, do you want to be in the same position that you are right now, or do you want to be further ahead? And if you want to be further ahead and owning that property and being able to fund your permaculture desires, be able to fund your homestead desires like we have, then just go ahead and pay attention to this and just listen to it. Okay, take notes if you can and just hear us out on what we have to say. So basically, it's going to start like this. We specialize in helping people take their personal credit. Now, we can do this despite credit, despite your personal money right now, despite your income, any of that. But we specialize in helping people take their personal credit, leverage that into business credit, and then get further and further and further capitalized. Okay. And now, one of my financial mentors, her name is Lori Waddell, what she did is she exposed me to this world and through real estate and stuff like that. Now, I'm not telling you to do real estate. I'm telling you to do permaculture, to do homesteading, do what you want to do. And so, but she showed me that you can own nothing personally and control everything, control it all. Okay, so you can control businesses, you can control income, you can control money without having to actually own it. Now, what we're showing you here is that you can start a business. Okay, I'm going to just give you the basic steps here. One, you're going to go ahead and get a business address. Write down number one on your little sheet of paper. Get a business address. Now, look, go to DaVinciVirtual.com. Da Vinci, like Leonardo da Vinci, virtual.com. That's going to go sign up with those guys and get a business address, okay? And they have a business phone number. And let me tell you what we're gonna do here. We're gonna start a business as a separate entity, okay? A separate entity from you. And what's gonna happen is you are going to go and get credit on the business and build up credit on the business over the next 6 months, and then you'll have enough money to take that money out and purchase any homestead you want with it. Okay. Now you can get started on the purchase. You can if you have a job, you have income, and you know what, guys, because I love you, I'll go ahead and I'll coach you right here. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and pop those questions in the live chat, and I'll hit those as well. Okay. But we're gonna start a business, and we're going to put all the things in that business that a bank is going to look for. Okay. Then we're going to submit and start getting credit on that business. Okay, from different credit cards and different store vendors and stuff like that, and start building the credit score of that business over the next 6 months. Then we'll take that to it's going to be non-PG, non-personal guarantee. It's not going to be connected to your social security number. They're not even going to look at your credit report. They're going to go off of the credit built into the business. Okay, this has nothing to do with you personally. They're not even going to look at you. All right. So what's going to happen is that we'll build the credit up into the business, even though it doesn't have any income, whatever the case is. Don't worry about that right now. Build the credit up into the business, and then after that, we take it to a group of guys that specialize in getting corporate funding. The way that they do that is they submit electronically to multiple banks at the same time. Okay, electronically, and then they go and what's going to happen is that all these things are going to get approved at the same time for various amounts. They're going to be accepted, and the money is going to be wired in or ACH'd into your bank account or sent to your mailbox. Okay. Then you're going to have a collection of capital. Okay. Then what you're going to do is take that capital and move it into a trust or another business, right? And what's going to happen is now you can have this money free and clear. This business is over here. It lent the money over here or donated the money. If you have a trust, it's going to donate that capital that it raised over here. And now you've got this money over here free and clear. What's going to, now again, this isn't attached to you personally. It's not attached to your social security number. What's going to happen is you can take this and then you can use that to go and buy your property. Okay. Now, of course, I'm not telling you to just take that money and don't pay it back. If you can pay it back, great. You know, if you're buying a farm, if you're producing income, fantastic. Go ahead and pay that money back, and then that business credit will be even better than it was before. And you can do that again and again and again. Now, here's the cool thing. We doing what we do, we can get, you know, within 6 months around $250,000 on a business within 6 months. Okay, starting from scratch. Doing that, you start to think, well, okay, cool. If I can get $250,000 in 6 months just by utilizing this formula, how many times can I do that? There's the key, right? We call this business or corporate crowdfunding. What the method is to create multiple corporations and get them capitalized all at the same time. And so, there she is. And so create multiple corporations and get them capitalized all at the same time. And what's going to happen is that you can, by the IRS, legally, everything, all of this is legal, all this is above board. Okay, what I tell my clients is that there's no difference between the rules that you can abide by and those of, you know, Rockefeller or Donald Trump or any other billionaire out there, or Warren Buffett. It's not that they make the rules. Okay, they don't make up their own rules just because they're rich. That's not right thinking. The right thinking is that they have the same rule book you do called the tax code. They just had a better coach, right? They just had a better coach. And so what I'm showing you here is how they do these things, and how you can do them too, because you're an American citizen, or if you're not an American citizen, become an American citizen, and you can utilize the same strategy. Okay, so what's going to happen is that you can do multiple, you can get multiple corporations funded, all within, you know, what if you did one of these a month? You know, and then starting in 6 months, you just had this capital rolling and rolling and rolling. So what we call that is, if we set that up for somebody, we call that a lifestyle security package. Okay, where our corporations, or, you know, we can set all that stuff up and get them capitalized and get them funded and everything else. And we call that lifestyle security package. And why wouldn't it be a lifestyle security package? Because you have 10 different LLCs that you've built up over the last year, right? A year and a half. And as a hobby, no less. Then what's going to happen is you just go ahead and take that and have it sitting there for you. When you want to spend money, then you spend it. Okay, you pull that money together into a separate LLC or a separate trust, maybe a nonprofit, and then take it as a donation for your permaculture nonprofit or your church, and then you go ahead and you're off to the races. You're ready to rock and roll. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and talk for a minute about the money that's actually available in permaculture. Okay, so most lenders are not going to lend directly to permaculture enthusiasts just because of your nature, right? And so you want to be a homesteader, you want to be a permaculture enthusiast, that's fine, but a lot of people, well, let's face it, guys, the permaculture enthusiasts as a whole, they're not really reliable cats. You know, they're like, hey, who's give me free money so I can go and live out my hippie dreams in Costa Rica? You know, that's a cool thought and all, and I wish everybody could be that way, and I wish this was utopic, but it's just not. So we're showing you how that you can get this set up. Jaron, I'm going to answer that or Jaron, I'm going to answer that in a question. I'm going to answer that question in a second. So what we have going on here is that there are rules that you have to abide by if you want to do this. Okay, so it's not just everybody give me money and they don't just fund people for permaculture just because they're like, yeah, I plan to grow bananas and set up a fruit stand on the side of the road, and I plan to do this and plan to do that. It's what they're looking for is something a little bit deeper than that. Okay, and we can get it. I mean, we can get that done, but it's not just a straight situation where we're looking at being able to farm and live off of that. And if you walk into a bank, they're not going to fund you for this. Okay, so you have to basically utilize the systems that they've set up and do it differently. All right. So how much money is available in permaculture? What can you do for permaculture? Jaron, no, it doesn't take at least a year for the entity to establish credit. You can get a credit established within 6 months. So as far as a year is concerned, it depends on the bank too, right? So you've got, if you're going to one bank and you say, okay, one bank, I want $300,000 from one bank, and it's not any credit, you can go ahead and get. What we're doing is submitting to multiple banks for small lines of credit. Okay, so the method is, instead of getting 100,000 from one bank, you're getting 10,000 from 10 banks, right? And that's how this money comes in faster. Also, that's how it's all done on signature loans, without having to put up any collateral or pitch anybody or anything like that. It's all done electronic. Okay. So you can get these signature loans based on the credit of the business fairly easily. So thank you for that question. So the money for permaculture, we know as permaculture designers, as homesteaders, that we can take a piece of ground and look at it and say, hey, I have a vision for this ground, right? So I'll be driving down the road and I'll see a cow pasture, for example, and I'll look at it and I'll see, streams, and I'll see spring lines, and I'll see ponds, and I'll see where to put food forests and where to put timber structure and where to grow certain things. In Montana, we're kind of limited in these things, but other parts of the country you're not. I'm constantly looking at real estate across the country. I've also developed a methodology that will allow, even in dry places like Wyoming that get 13 inches of rain a year, we can develop a structure on that deal on a 40-acre piece of ground that you get for $20,000, that you can go ahead and really rework that ground to where it actually hold water. And if it'll hold water for a longer period of time, then you can create mulch. You can create a situation where it's got more organic material and where it just starts to build and it'll build on top of itself, because the things that we've created, things that we've done, can take a piece of desert, was ordinarily desert, everything around is desert with just a bunch of sagebrush out in Wyoming, and create that into this beautiful, lush environment that stays green for a very long time. And it's going to increase the property value, right? So if we look at these things and we say, okay, there's a piece of property for $100,000. It's going to take, $50,000 to put swale lines in and to create these ponds and to set up food forests and stuff like that, a small orchard, and to plant some timber over here. We know that within 5 to 10 years, it's going to be a very expensive piece of property. It's going to be very valuable. It's going to hold water. It's going to be amazing to do anything anybody wants to do with it, and put some home sites in there and stuff like that. So basically, we take a $100,000 piece of property, or in Wyoming, a $20,000 piece of property, because you get land over there for like $500 an acre. So you get this $20,000 piece of property, you put $50,000 into fixing it up and doing the stuff that you need to do with it. And then you've got a piece of ground that's going to be worth closer to $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, right? Because you've done all of this stuff already. And if you do it in an environment where it's more lush, like, say Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, West Virginia, somewhere that's rural and beautiful, but it's close to a town that's, where people just kind of want to get out and see something that's nicer, and have something that's a little bit nicer, a little bit greener, somebody that wants to be sustainable. People pay for these things. Okay. You've got these city slickers out there that will actually pay to move out to a farm that's ready, that's already sustainable, especially as things start to heat up politically, things start to end of the world talk keeps happening, Iran bombing our bases and stuff like that, and bombing our embassies and whatnot. There's people with money are looking for places that they can go to bug out. All right. So you can actually take this money and flip properties with it once you get accustomed to doing it. And then you build a name. over a short period of time of actually doing that. Okay, Jaron, you're welcome. And so what we're looking at here is a fairly simple deal. You can get this capital and you can build your own property with it. You know, $100,000 can get you a lot of land in a lot of places. All right. And it's really not that much capital. It's really not that much money. I mean, to a lot of people, it's going to seem like a lot of money, and I understand that. But it's not outside of your reach. You just have to, raise your thinking. The terms that we talk in, we talk in millions, right? And the conversations we're having, I mean, I'm having conversations daily with people that they won't talk to you unless you're talking in terms of millions, because it's not worth their time. So when we're talking about moving money around, when we're talking about doing these things, there are lots of ways to skin this cat, if you will. But I tell you, there are the stuff that we've gone over is being able to get credit on a business, not your personal credit. It has nothing to do with your income, has nothing to do with your business income, and all we're doing is building business credit on multiple corporations if you want to. And then here's what some people are doing. They're spending money on a corporation to build the credit, and they're taking money from another corporation that they built credit on and using that to pay back this debt. And then they do it, and so old timers call this robbing Peter to pay Paul. Okay, but the thing is that you can have an accountant, a really cheap accountant, just handle all of this for you. Everything I'm talking about right now, about building business credit, managing it and all this stuff, I hate all that stuff. I can't stand the day-to-day work of managing money. I don't like it. It's not my thing. I don't like a fiduciary responsibility where somebody's calling me up all the time. I have a fiduciary responsibility, but I prefer not to have it. You see, fiduciary responsibility means that I'm responsible for someone else's money. I don't like being there. So if, I don't like it when somebody's constantly calling me up saying, how's it doing? What's going on here? It's that's not the game I want to be in. I like being in education. I like helping people succeed. That's what I want to do. I want people to be able to live the lifestyle that we're living and be able to have their own homestead, right? That's paid off, and have their own homestead that they can utilize to grow their families and to just live the life that they want to live. All right. So what we're showing people how to do, if you just got here, is be able to create a corporate entity, multiple corporate entities, get credit on those corporate entities over the period of 6 months to a year, and then go ahead and get those funded. Okay, and so Jaron, to answer your question again, you said does it take at least a year for the entity to establish credit? Credit can start getting established usually within 60 to 90 days. From that point, the longer the credit history, the stronger the more money you're going to be able to get. Okay, and that's going to depend on your funder. And so we have people that we reach out to do this. Right. So what they do is they'll do all the submission work for you, and they can even build the entity for you, and then they'll just take a percentage on the back end. Is it a good idea, or would you recommend people buy used corporate entities that have already credit established, or is that a bad idea? No, that's a good idea. It's just expensive. Okay, so for example, Jaron, that's a good question as well. For example, what's going to happen is that if somebody has a corporation that has credit on it, 5 years worth of credit history, and it's got a 90 paydex score or a 95 paydex score, even an 80 paydex score, which is a credit score for a business. If if they have that available, look to spend $30,000 out of pocket. Okay. Because they know that you can take that and go get $250,000, $500,000 in capital. You see, easy, like right now. And so these guys that are in that game understand that perfectly. So as far as that's concerned, there are ways to do that as well. Okay, there are ways to do that where you don't have to come out of pocket that much. Maybe you find a guy that just wants to get out of his business, right? Maybe you have a guy that just wants to retire, and so you go and you make a deal with him. Say, hey, look, here's what we have going on. um, and if he's got 10, 20 years of established credit, well, then it's fairly simple. How much do you want for the business? You want 500 grand for the business? Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll set up a situation, and it gets funded for all this money. We'll set up multiple corporations and just pay the guy out. Okay, then you take what's left over and you pay and you buy your permaculture property with it. And the business funds itself. You see, so there's more than one way to skin that cat. But to answer your question, it's a good idea if you have capital to do that. All right, so that's the other thing. I'm going off of the assumption that most people don't have that level of capital. Okay, so but thanks for the question. So what we're getting to here, let's go ahead and talk about what it's going to take to actually get that corporation rocking. Number one, before you do anything, you're going to need to get a business address. Okay, go ahead and write that down. Business address and a business phone. Can't use your cell phone, can't use your home address. Banks today will not lend to home addresses. They won't lend to cell phones and stuff like that. Go to DaVinciVirtual.com. All right, DaVinciVirtual.com. That's who we use to, I work from home, but I have a business address and I have a business phone number and I have a business secretary. The whole thing cost me $150, a month to get that going. So that stuff's not free, but if you have a buddy that has a business or whatever the case is, then you can get a Google Voice. If you want to do it cheap, find a friend that has a business address that you can use. You cannot use a P.O. box. All right, so find a friend that has a business address. Hey, man, can I use this as a business address? They'll say yes. And then, so just start receiving mail there and go to Google Voice, okay, or I think it's voice.google.com or something like that, or google.com/voice, and you can get a free phone number there. That you can use that, okay, as a business phone. Now, I like going with DaVinci Virtual, even though it is $150 a month, because if somebody calls there, they're going to talk to a secretary that's going to answer in the name of my company. All right. So what they're going to do is they're going to answer the name of my company. They're going to ask for me. Then they're going to put them on hold. Let me see if it's available. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to ring my phone. Right. So I'm going to ring the phone. It's going to be the secretary. Hey, Jeff, this is so-and-so at DaVinci. I've got so-and-so on the line. They'd like to speak with you. Here's what they want to call about and all this stuff. And I can tell them if I can take the call or not. It's that simple. That if I can, they connect. And so it's just that easy. It's as if it's the same process as if the secretary was sitting in the room next door. Right. And so that's a really cool thing, is that they can actually do that. And so it looks really, really good to banks. Now that you've got your business address, you've got your business name in the with DaVinci Virtual, and you've got your business address, and you haven't filed for a business yet, and that's okay. You haven't filed for a corporation, it's all right. Go to Buffalo Registered Agents. Okay, I think it's registeredagentswy.com, but it's called Buffalo Registered Agents. You can check them out. You can look them up and get incorporated in under an LLC in Montana. In Wyoming. I live in Montana, but incorporate in Wyoming. Why? Wyoming doesn't have any state income tax, and they're really good. They're really fast. You can get this thing in 24 hours. All right, so pay those guys $150. It's going to be $100 to get the corporation formed in 24 hours, and $50 for your first year as a registered agent. Boom, done. And then you just pay them $50 a year, and they keep your stuff all legit in the state of Wyoming. All right, and you don't have to hassle with it because there's no state income tax, so you don't have to report. And so then what you're going to want to do is go to irs.gov. That was step 2. Go to Buffalo Registered Agents and get an LLC in the same name that you gave DaVinci Virtual. All right. And then go to the irs.gov. Now, you can pay Buffalo Registered Agents to do this. I wouldn't recommend it because this takes literally 2 minutes. Go to irs.gov and hit apply for an EIN. You're going to want to apply for an EIN for an LLC. Okay. Then when it's going to ask you for the name of the company, the address, all that stuff, just use the name of use the address that you got with DaVinci Virtual, and use the phone number that you got with DaVinci Virtual. That's it. Okay, and it can be attached to your social security number. That's not a problem. So you can have it attached to your social security number, and so that's step 3. All right. So 1, address and phone number, name. 2, go ahead and get your LLC with Buffalo Registered Agents in the state of Wyoming. They're located in Cheyenne. 3, you're going to go ahead and get your EIN number, all right, with irs.gov. Or you can have Buffalo Registered Agents do that for you. I think it's an extra $40 or whatever, which is ridiculous because literally the thing takes 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes to do. It's nothing. Next step, once all that stuff's done, you're going to want to go to, this is stuff that these guys all look for. Yeah, you're welcome, Jaron. This is stuff these guys all look for. They're going to want to know, do you have business insurance? Okay. Business insurance. Go to hiscox.com, HISCOX. I recommend everybody get this. Okay. It's just bulletproof stuff, right? It's just what the banks look for. It's what you should have anyway. It's everybody should have this, and look, guys, we're playing by their rules. All right. But not completely within the game. You see, if you knew me better, which I hope you do in the future, you're going to be inside the game, but you're going to be playing the game, but as like an overseer. Okay, so the game's going to be going on. The game's going to be sending money up to you, but you're not in the middle of it. You're going to be out here. Okay, so what's going to take place is that after you get all this stuff done, now you're going to go to hiscox.com, HISCOX. All right, I'm going to go ahead and type that in here. I forgot I could do that. Hiscox.com. Okay, so go to hiscox.com, and what's going to happen is that for a fairly inexpensive amount, you can get some business insurance. All right, and it's going to be like a general liability policy. It's going to be, you can do it for $1 million or $2 million or whatever, just a general liability policy, a cheap one, and that's going to be your deal. Okay, so the banks are going to look for that. They might ask for that later on down the road. Whenever you go to get funded, they might ask, okay, do you have any insurance? Yeah. All right. And that's it. Okay. So then now you'll actually have a policy. And so now you've got a real business. You have a business. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. When you go to irs.gov, they can ask you what's the nature of the business. Okay. You're going to put under agriculture. Okay. You're going to tell them that it's agriculture. Why? Well, number one, it is. It's, permaculture and homesteading are both under agriculture. But that's not what your business is doing. Okay, we're going to say agriculture. Close enough. What's happening here is that businesses or banks are more apt to lend to several different sectors, and one of which is agriculture. Why is that? Typically, agriculture is a safe bet for banks. And I know that may seem a little bit counterintuitive, but because people think that farmers have a high failure rate. No, restaurants have a high failure rate. Okay, farmers don't comparatively. But typically they tend to lend more to agriculture, and electronically the AI is more lenient toward agriculture because you're looking at. A lot of times you're looking at equipment purchases and stuff like that. Okay. And you're looking at good people that like to pay their bills. And so there's, typically there's some sort of recourse there. If somebody didn't pay their bills, they could repossess the tractor or whatever. Okay. But it's just looked upon more favorably than, a financial advisor, for example, where somebody might have a higher degree of liability or risk. So agriculture, just put agriculture in there and it'll give you the SIC code for agriculture that's going to be assigned to your corporation and your EIN number. Okay. So what you're doing again at the IRS is getting an EIN number. Then you're going to take all this stuff. You're going to take your articles of incorporation that you're going to get from Buffalo Registered Agents probably the next day. You're going to get your EIN number within 3 minutes once that's done. And oh, by the way, it has to be finished with, the LLC has to be finished in the state of Wyoming before you get your EIN. Okay, so let them do that, let them finish, and then go get your EIN for the LLC. Then what we can do is just go ahead and start building your business credit. Okay, once all this is done, you get your bank account, take your articles of incorporation and your EIN number and your ID over to the bank, and just go ahead and open up a bank account in the name of that corporation. From there, you're just going to start getting business credit. Okay, you're going to go to different companies like Nordstrom's. You're going to go to Home Depot. You're going to get gas cards and all this stuff, all in the name of the business. Never, ever, ever, ever use your social security number on a credit application for your business. Ever, 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 ever. You don't want to do that. All right. What we're showing you here is called non-PG funding. It says non-personal guarantee funding. Okay. So if you put your social security number on any of these things, they're going to have it. All right. You want this to be a completely separate entity from who you are right now, from your person and what you want to do. All right. So it's a completely separate deal. You don't want, if the business fails, if they can't pay back their loans or whatever, you want to be free from that. All right. You don't want to be attached to it. So what we're talking about here is getting non-PG funding. So what you're going to do is you're going to start off small. You're going to start getting there's a bunch of YouTube videos about this, okay, about how to start and where to go. But our guys, they specialize in being able to go and just get those small deals first. And we're not talking about cash cards, okay? These aren't regular credit cards. These are store credit cards, okay? Uline, for example, is a pretty popular one. All right. So what they're going to do, you don't even have to buy anything. All right. But they're going to have they're going to issue you credit. You're going to have like a starter credit just for being a business in general. Over at Uline, they'll give you like $3,000 as starter credit. Okay. And there are other companies that do this, and there's a bunch more information all over YouTube about this. All right. But, like jewelry companies and stuff like that, that will give you credit, and different places give you business credit for their store. Okay. So like, just for that merchant credit. And what's going to happen is that you start utilizing this a little bit, then you move up to some gas cards. Okay. So the gas cards, and you start utilizing this a little bit. If you need to get some gas, put $25 a month on the gas card, $50 a month, whatever their minimum is, and start utilizing this. You're also going to want to get registered with Dun & Bradstreet and start getting your Paydex score rocking. Okay. And we have a whole training on this stuff, but I'm exposing you to this industry. Okay. I'm exposing you to this. Once you get all this going, and within 6 months, you're going to be able to take this back, contact me and say, hey, Jeff, I built this stuff up. I did it just like you said. I put this stuff together. I've got 2 corporations, or I've got 1 corporation, and now I've got a 90 Paydex score, and we got all the requirements done, and I want to get this thing rock and rolling. And then you can go and contact us, and I'll send you to the right guys. And that don't work for me, by the way. These guys are all third party, and they specialize in this. One of which has done over $1 billion in fundraising over the last 15, 20 years. And so these guys are good at what they do. And what you're going to do is just go ahead and work with them, and they'll get the capital for you. They'll monetize that credit for you for a percentage. So they have let's say if they get you $100,000, they're gonna, they might charge 10%. All right, so they're gonna say, okay, we got you $100,000. Just send us 10% as per our agreement for creating that funding, because this is funding that you probably wouldn't be able to do yourself the right way, and it's gonna be more for more than $100,000, but they're gonna ask for a percentage. And that's how they make their money. That's how they make their living. That's how they get paid. So that's their that's their MO. So then you can be off to the races. So 6 months from now, literally 6 months from now, you can be where you want to be financially, you can just start this off with really very, very little money, or almost no money, compared to where you're going. Okay, and see, let me find something real quick. Just bear with me, guys, real fast. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and try to log into this one thing, because there is a tool that helps you to do this. Just want to dig into it for a second, see if I have the right information going on here. So what I'm looking at here, I'm looking for a tool, if you'll forgive me, and that will allow us to that will allow you to work with them step by step to be able to create this business credit. Now, I'm going to warn you, this is not cheap. Okay, it's not cheap to utilize this, but if you wanted to be in this business, and start doing like we're talking about, and getting multiple corporations and having them and do it the right way, and not make any mistakes, this is what you'd want to use. Okay, all right. It's called Credit Suite. Let's see. Okay. All right. Finish Shield. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'll just get my login information on this thing, because I haven't logged into it for a while, because it's just not what we do. Yeah, it's not part of my daily thing. But I'm happy to get you the information. Let's see. All right, so let's see here. I'll go ahead and grab this for you. Copy that. Get you the right link here. There you go. Okay. So that is the that's a promotion that you're going to get by utilizing that deal, because of what we do. It's cheaper or something if you go through that link. Let's see. And that's it. So basically what those guys do, it's called Credit Suite. And what those guys do, I wish I could share my screen. I could show you. Credit Suite, you can look on there is what they do. But their thing is they've got software that tells you all this stuff. And it's going to walk you through step by step into a world where you not only get your stuff created, but what to apply for and when. You see, and it's gonna turn green. Like there's all these things. Once you've accomplished X, then all of a sudden, 4 more things will open up that are turned green that you can go apply for, because you've met their criteria. They have all this stuff lined out. Again, it's not cheap. I don't know even how much it costs. I think it's like $2,000 or something. But it's I forgot what we paid for it. But the bottom line is that it's so worth it. It's and again, you can do this on your own. This stuff's on YouTube, right? It's this information is not information that is proprietary. It's out there, but what's not out there is that if you see guys on YouTube, they're going to give you just enough information, and then they're going to try to get you to hire them to do it for you for a commission. And that's what most of the guys on YouTube are doing. We're not doing that. Well, what I'm just trying to expose this to you, trying to expose this way of funding your permaculture and funding your homestead. That's what I'm trying to do for you, is just show you that this world actually exists. And most people don't understand that it exists. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you want to walk through that, check those guys out on YouTube as well. If you want to see what it is that they have going on, and see, and maybe it's worth it for you. Maybe you say, hey, I do want to get 10 corporations built over the next year, and just do that. And maybe that's become something you specialize in that you can actually do from home. Think about that. Right. So that might be something that you can do from home. You can do that yourself. And Jaron, like you were talking about, what if you went and got business credit, Jaron, on 10 different corporations and sold them for $20,000, $30,000 a piece over the course of the next year? It's another way to do that. Okay. Let's see. All right. 4, hiscox.com, business insurance. 5, after your okay, so we've got these reversed a little bit there, bro. After you get your business insurance, you're going to go ahead and start, you can register with Dun & Bradstreet before you start getting your funding. You have to. So, but you're going to go ahead and get that done first. And then you start applying for non-PG funding. What you're going to start applying for is vendor credit cards. And do not submit them your social security number. Okay, it's not necessary. So just start getting vendor cards, vendor accounts rather, vendor trade lines, what they called trade lines. So you start getting vendor trade lines like Home Depot, Uline, maybe even Sears, stuff like that, right? Gas cards, and so then you can start utilizing that. And then once those are built up, you start utilizing those enough, and once they get built up, it's just small amounts is all it takes, $50, $100. $25 to $50 typically, and then they'll start reporting. So once you do that, then you're buying gasoline anyway. You might as well buy it with the gas card that's going to reward you for having good credit. And that's it, man. That's it. Let's see. Do you have a website or a way to pay you to get personal help, or do you offer service? We do have that. We're coming out, Jaron, with an entire system called Smart Wealth, where we're offering all of this as a coaching package. But like I said, I didn't want to use this platform for that. But we do have that. We do have that available, or it's going to be coming available toward the end of this. Within the next week. That's gonna be launching. But for right now, if you want to contact me, you can just go to www.dennisshieldfinancial.com, and that's our insurance site. But that's what we do most of our stuff with is through there. So, and you can contact me through there. And that's it, man. So guys, I really hope you appreciated this. And I hope that you think that what we said here is valuable. Jaron, I appreciate your participation here and valuing what it is that we have to offer. So guys, God bless. This is going to stay up on YouTube. So thank you for your time. God bless y'all, and take care. Bye-bye.